everyone, today we're going to be making masterboards, and if you've never made one before, it's basically the best way I know how to turn a pile of scraps into dozens of beautiful pieces for your junk journals. This is what we're going to end up with, so grab a coffee, grab your book pages and let's get started. Okay, so I wanted to talk about what type of books that you can use. You want to try and make interesting sort of backgrounds, and over the years I have collated a range of different types of books. So I just wanted to show you the sorts of things that I look for. So I've got this one here. It's an educational Irish English pronouncing dictionary, but I got it because of the lovely different text and just the lovely unique colouring of the book page. Now all of my books I've gotten through thrifting, through Facebook Marketplace, through Gumtree, which is like another alternative to Facebook Marketplace. So, you know, various ways I've got it. This one is a primer of bookkeeping, and this is actually what I do. I am a professional contract bookkeeper. So this one certainly grabbed my attention, but this has got some interesting pages. Now I've already been through and harvested some really good ones, and this one's out of copyright, so I can actually scan some of these book pages. So I will be doing that in the near future. So that's a good, interesting book page. And then you've got this concise guide in colour, herbs. So you've got the importance of medicinal plants. So you've got lots of botanical sorts of names and references. You've got the Latin names, and I don't obviously use the illustrations in the masterboards, but you know, you can a little bit. So that type of thing. This is actually a really good book. If you can look out for that one, you'll get lots and lots of beautiful pages and illustrations out of this one. Okay, so then I just found something like this, and the reason I got it is, again, it's just got interesting page layouts and words, things like that. This is a self-effacing gardener. I think I went to like a huge big book sale, secondhand book sale a few years ago, and I got a few of these, but this has got some beautiful old typed text. This one here I think I picked up in a thrift shop, and I think it might actually be like, I don't know, I think it was her funeral, but it's got some beautiful poems, and again it's got some beautiful typewriting on the page. This one I was very lucky to find. I mean, I did buy this I think off eBay, but it's a smaller version. I'll give you the measurements. It is 14 centimeters by 18 centimeters, and in inches that is 5.5 inches by 7 inches, so just a bit over. So I'm quite happy to tear pages. I've still got a couple of the bigger size ones, but I haven't brought myself quite to I've pulled out a few of the text pages, and on that note, that's what this is good for, text pages. But at the back, all these lovely index pages here you can use, and they're all got the references to botanical names. So that's some of the sorts of interesting book pages that I look out for. And of course you can just use ordinary book pages. And so the other tools we're going to use is just a simple tear ruler and some glue stick. I have tried experimenting with Aquadeer. I watered it down and I tried a few other glues. Very sticky, very messy, and all I ended up having was paper just stick to my fingers. I found glue stick was actually the easiest to use, and I'm going to show you a little trick. So make sure you keep watching, because I'm going to show you a little trick of what to do to make your pages really flat and really crisp. So these tear rulers, this is We Are Memory Keepers, and also I made my own tear ruler. So I just got a cheap wooden ruler, and then I just got a Stanley knife and I just chipped it and cut bits out of it. And honestly, this is my favorite one to use, but this is good too. I do like using this one. Okay, so glue stick we already talked about. Now, when it comes to actually cutting the tags, I have got some nesting dies, metal dies. I believe this one's a Tim Holtz one, but I bought this a very long time ago, so I'm not sure if it's still available. And then I've got this one here. This is just like with stitched edges. I do also have this, which I don't use that often, but I have used it. It's just a nesting set of acrylic dies, but that's something that you could use. I got mine from, I think she's Junk Journal Ideas. She's another fellow Australian YouTuber. So these are good because you can put the acrylic down, like if you have your book page, you can put it down and then you can sort of place, you know, exactly where you want to make the tag, which could be useful in Masterboards. So you could look at something like that. And of course, if you're failing all of that, of course, you just can use a ruler and craft knife, and then you could just snip the edges. All right, and then I will ink some edges, so we'll be using my Distress ink. All right, so we've gone through the types of book pages that I use. Now let's talk about my substrate. So I've got this huge book here that I picked up, again, thrifting, and it's Australia Through Time. This one I like. It starts at 1875, but that's because I have already ripped out all of the earlier pages. So it goes right through to 1896, early 1900s, 1944, but then we get to, so 1955, 1957, but we start to get to more modern times, which probably these sort of pages are not really going to be my type of pages that I like to use in journals. So all I've done is I've ripped them out. See, something like that would be good, 1957. So what I've done, okay, so in a package, I have got a whole pile of things that I can use as substrates. And these are some pages that I've ripped out, ready to go. And here's some, obviously some tea dye paper I've got ready to go, more ripped tea dye paper. And I've got this huge bag of just strips from when I've been cutting down pages, and I've got all these lovely tea dye papers which I've kept. And so what I've done is I've taken these sheets and I've just lined the backs of them so we can use those. Now that's 2 layers, and then by the time you do your masterboard on top, that's potentially 3 layers, and sometimes you might want to actually get a piece of this and then cut that to create your journaling space on the back. So that's what I use as a substrate. You could use atlas, you could get yourself a nice big atlas book or any large book and you can use that. So I might just pick out a few. I'll go for some of the smaller ones and we'll decorate those. All right, so I've got my book pages here. Now I have done a few already because I'm making a few journals with different themes, so I have already done a few, and these are some leftover pages. So this is what I've done. Also, the other few things that I use, I've got some blank paper here. This is some old, yeah, just some old vintage paper, and I've got graph paper. There's some tissue paper. And this is an old, you know, this is a piece of tea dye doily here. So I'm just going to make my piles, and of course you've got music paper as well. All right, so let me sort these out. All right, so I've got them in various piles. So I've also got, now these are some sort of more poetic type words, which when I tear the pages up, if I see something that looks nice, like tea garden covered hills, I'm doing a tea time themed journal, so I might put that aside, and that would be good for that. But I just sort of try and put them in piles. This is really good for your very, very brittle pages because they're not much good on their own, but you can glue them down in a masterboard and they're perfectly fine. So I do have a illustrated dictionary which is extremely brittle, but if I see some interesting illustrations, see that's so brittle that that has torn, but I'm going to see if I can try and glue that down carefully. And then I've got a bird, so anything like that, as I see it, I kind of put it to a side. All right, so I have got music paper up the top here. I've got top header bit of some music paper with some interesting script. I have got some, I'm guessing that that is German. So yeah, just different interesting types of paper. So let's get going. Let's get started. There's my ledger from that bookkeeping vintage book. All right, so we'll start with this one here. So I've got my book page down the side here. Now, I have also put together a couple of digis which will work well with your masterboard. This is some nice William Morris patterns which you can use as a tear sheet. And I just put together some tags as well, which I thought would be nice. That's just a little bonus. So I have cut or torn down some little tear pieces, but we'll use that for decorating. And then again, when we come to decorate, I put together this sheet here, and we'll tear out elements and we'll decorate a few tags. So these are available in my Ko-fi store, and I will put the links below in the description. So let's get started. Okay, so the first thing I do is I'll just get myself a piece of book page, and I sort of start from the middle. I just find that if I work in the middle and then work my way out, then I get a good coverage that way. So I pretty much just put that in the middle. And then I just start layering and placing my book page. And just slightly overlapping as we place it down. So I'll just continue to do that. But what I'm doing is each time I'm trying to pick a different, you know, texture, color, script, just to make it interesting. There's my ledger paper there. So I think about, now I have done masterboards where I've literally just torn and just put down randomly, but this one I do want to decorate a little bit, so I do think a little bit about placement. So for example, I know that I've got my large tag, so if I come here, I can see that that's going to, yeah, I might put a piece across here. So I might go, I might put this light piece down. And I just continue to just place down my book page. slightly overlapping. Now I've got lots of overlaps there, so I might just get a little square piece like this would be good. And I can just place that on top there just to sort of even it out. So I think I'll just continue on, and I will just time lapse it, and you can see how I go about just laying the book page down, and then when we come to like slightly decorating it, I will then put it back onto normal speed. Okay, so I've got my first piece down, and now so what I'll do is grab my tear sheet. So this is going to be a botanical themed, so I might just come along and just fussy tear some shapes, and we can put them down in various portions of the sheet to get some patterns. So I might do that one like that, and then I might do just bring in that one like so. So I will then get my ink. So I just use the vintage photo, and just where these little white bits are, okay, so we'll just get these down now. Just to give it that little pop of colour. All right, so then I have a look at it and I see if there's anything I want to cover over. So there's quite a lot of overlaps here, so I might just add something there. I might even add a little bit of plain paper, or actually, what about some tissue paper? No, I think I'll go another piece of graph because you can stamp over it. So let's just tear the edges, and I think I'll just put that there. I may, by the time I cut it out, it may not really do anything, but I may catch a little bit of it, or I may catch the whole lot of it, and then I can stamp something on it. So we'll put that there like so, and we'll just see how that turns out. So I'm going to let that dry now. So I'm just going to do a couple more, but that's pretty much the way I do it. And I'll come back and I'll show you the different masterboards that I've created, and then I'll show you a little trick that what you can do to make them lovely and flat. And if the glue dries and you get any little bubbles, although I think this is going to be okay, but like on the back, for example, if it's a little bit bubbly, I'll show you a trick that you can do, and then we'll cut them out and we'll decorate them. Okay, so I have been busy, but I have finished them off. So let's have a look at what we've got, some close-ups. And then I did this one here, and I put a little bit of writing down the bottom there. We'll see how that turns out. Did this strip here, and then I also did this one here. This is going to be for Easter themes. Now I also was going through my papers and I saw this tea-dyed paper that I had done, but it had turned out a little bit blurry. But I thought, wow, this might be okay to cut out some tag shapes and then to put some nice, you know, Easter bunny sort of images on it. So we'll see how that turns out. And then I created that one as well. Okay, so I wanted to now show you a little trick, because as you can see, not too bad actually, but sometimes they can, let's see if I can find an example. Like, actually these ones have not turned out too bad at all, but like sometimes, you know, they're not so crisp and flat, and I'm going to do it anyway because I really do like the effect. So let me get set up. All right, so this is my laminating machine. I will turn it on and we'll let it heat up. And what I do is I take my sheets and I run them through the laminator. So we will do that. Okay, so the machine is warmed up. Look, this is not a necessary step, but I do like to do it. As I say, I just feel that it re-melts the glue and then it presses everything so that it's smooth. And then I'll trim these down as well. Okay, as I say, it's not a necessary step, but I feel that it heats everything and it really molds it into like one nice flat sheet. And just where it's a little bit bumpy and lumpy from the glue and the paper, it just sort of flattens it really nicely. So I'm going to now trim everything so that, because if I turn it over, you'll see that, you know, it's not fully, some pieces have overlapped the paper underneath. So I'm going to now trim everything. So now it's all trimmed, and I will hold them up again to the camera so that you can see the lovely patterns that we got. I'm excited to see how these turn out. I mean, I know it's not true masterboard. It's sort of a bit like Franken papers to me, but there they are. So now the fun begins, and I'm now going to take my nested dies, and I might even take my acrylic blocks, and I'm going to cut them all out. So when I come back, we will have the tag shapes, and also I will do a few journal card shapes, and we'll see what we got, and we'll do some decorating. All right, so here we are with all of our masterboards cut out. So I'll just go through them, you know, quickly for you, and and let you know the types of things that I cut out. So I did the large tags, and I also got this lovely piece here. So I'll probably end up using this as a journaling card or maybe a pocket. I'll probably end up rounding the corners as well. So that's how they turned out. Then I got the smaller tags. So that's those two there. And I got another, you know, journaling card, another tag here, and more tags. And was so happy I got that little stamen piece there. Then I had all of these littler bits that I can use as labels, or maybe I can use it as a little tabs. So I used every little bit that I possibly could. And then there's these like little mini tags that I can use as well. And then I went right down to the absolute tiny, tiny little tags. These ones here. And then where I could, I punched out some little hole reinforcers. So that's the botanical tags here. Now, this one here, now I had done some more as well. So there's actually 3 lots here. These are the ones that I did today. So these ones I did yesterday because I've got Easter and I've got bunny themed tags here. So these are the ones that I did yesterday. Now that's from my mixed media papers. I don't know if you've seen that video where I used a plastic bag filled up with like one of those, you know, Glad lunch bags filled up with water, like a piping bag, and then I sort of smooshed it into some paint, and then I made these like rosettes. So that's from that. And this is more of the Masterboards. And then again, I did, you know, any little bit I could, I cut out. So these are like all the little mini tags. And then I got hole reinforcer. Okay, so that's this lot here. So in here, that's kind of Easter and bunny, and really happy with how these turned out. These are the ones with the tea dyed papers, and I cut these into tag shapes. So very happy with these. Now this one here, so I got some smaller tags here. Now this is what I was left with, and I'm doing a bee themed journal. So there's a couple of tags there that oops, that one's upside down. There's a couple of tags there that I have finished. I've just got to stitch the edges, but I thought that would look really good with a nice big bumblebee on there. So I'm going to put that in with my bee themed tags. And then these ones here I did for autumn, and you can see here that I've been playing around with how to decorate, so I'll probably end up doing something like that. And then this one here, again, I got a lovely little acorn on there, so I thought I would do something like that. So what we'll do is we'll decorate a couple of tags. So let me pick out a couple. So I thought this one would be quite cute. Now this I think I got from Graphics Fairy. So I've already fussy cut out some things here. And then I've got some of these PET stickers. I got these from Temu. And I thought that, actually, let's have a look. I think this one, I thought that would look really sweet like that. So let's get that down. I've already inked the edges. Let me just roughly place it down. Before I commit, I want to make sure I get everything in the right orientation. So we'll put that one down there in the middle. And we'll have a little bunny sitting here. I just wanted that. Yeah. So I'll just get some sticky tape. Okay, so we'll stick our little bunny all right. All right, so that's our little bunny one. Okay, so I thought we would also do a bit of a quick collage with some of the pieces from the kit. So I've taken these 3 pieces here. This is the piece of ledger paper and I've torn it into a little piece like that. So I'm just going to pop that down like so, and then I fussy cut out the little flower, and then we've got the ticket here. So I thought we would do that like so. So I'll just distress the edges. Right, so we'll get this down. Right, so that's that one there. So there's 2. Now, another idea that I had was, so I'll finish these as well. I don't think I've got a bee. If I can find a bee, I'll get that one finished. And let's see if we can find another idea. Yeah, something like that. So let's get that one down. So these ones I left in the plates, but of course if you want to fussy cut them, you can do that. All right, so we'll glue all the elements down for that. So when you're doing your collage, if you can always sort of try and remember that if you stick to sort of like the outside, you know, like if you split it into thirds or something, but when you put your like your stamp, you put it on the right hand side, and then you flower, you put it on the left hand side. It just sort of seems to sit nicely with the eye. There is a sentiment. We could also add that, but I do have this sheet here as well. This is also on my Ko-fi site, and I'm wondering whether there could be something on here that would suit. I think the Collect Beautiful Moments, I might take that one. Of course, this one has got some circles that you can punch out, and it's also got a couple of nice poems on here as well, so it's sort of a bit of a multi-purpose sheet. Okay, so I think I might just, I can either put that there, but I think I'm going to just put that across there like so. All right, so what I'll do is I'm going to finish decorating a few more, and I'll stitch around the edges, and then we'll come back and we'll do a final reveal. So, okay guys, here we are. These are the finished tags. I've already put away all the small tiny scraps and little pieces, but we're still left with all these beautiful tags ready for finishing touches. And here's a few that I've already done. So this is the autumn tag on the right here. This is the one that we did the collage together. And this is the bee journal. This is the other one that we did with the collage. This is the kit that I created over on Ko-fi. And here's the cute little bunny rabbit. I won't be trying stitching that again, but you know, it's handmade. And here is the little journal card with the sticker and the fabric label. Okay, so if you would like to have a go at this yourself, I've added the digis that I used in my Ko-fi shop. I will link it down in the description below, and you'll find the Botanical Masterboard, the William Morris designs, and the vintage collage sheets, and also the junk journal sentiments are there as well. Well, that's it from me today, guys. I really hope this has inspired you to make some masterboards of your own. And if you enjoy this kind of video, don't forget to subscribe so you'll be notified whenever I upload a new video. As always, I love reading your comments, and I do my best to reply to everyone. So that's it for me, guys, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.